What's going on? It's Sam here at Too Many Hobbies. Today we're going to be going over my shed move. Picture in front of me is a 10 by 12 shed with a 1 foot bump out, so we'll call it 11 by 12. We're going to go through the positives and negatives of moving this on your own, the problems I had, and hopefully you'll learn a little something along it. There will be another video following this one soon with a shed restore. It doesn't look like this now. Here we are with the skid steer, pallet forks, and a couple ratchet straps around to keep it from falling off. Hooked up to the old Duramax there on the gooseneck trailer. One issue with you moving this yourself is paying for permits and everything else to get it there. I just drove it not too far down to where my house was, so luckily I was able to just skirt down and not have to worry about that. I already have cinder blocks, which I used liquid nails to glue together and then set that so everything is perfectly level, and those are all dug down into the ground, so the base is as strong as I can be. You see me pulling the trailer out from behind, or from underneath rather, from the shed. The problem with this whole setup is that the weight is not an issue. It's the fact that everything is out so far away from the lift point that it wants to just fall off there. I even have two toe straps all the way around, ratcheted down just like you do on a dolly with a washing machine or something, on a hand truck, whatever you want to call it, and it's still wanting to come off. Those are on there tight enough to where it was actually wanting to start to compress the wood, and it was still wanting to fall off like this. So I'm trying to be super easy with this whole thing because it's wanting to crack and pop, and it just doesn't go well. So we'll slowly try and get it in place. Another big issue that you're going to have is you cannot see anything. So I got just about everybody in the neighborhood here trying to help me as I tear the crap out of my grass to try and get this shed in place. So you can't see anything. You're going to have one person telling you what to do, because 3 different people yelling at you, you're going to end up getting somebody hurt. Somebody has to be watching where you're going, what you're doing, and lining up everything. So just trying to get this thing in place. I'm going to get off and I try and adjust these straps again and tighten them up even more. And you can't see it in these pictures, but it's wanting to compress and tear up the trim on the sides, which isn't a big deal because most of it gets replaced anyway, but it's cracking and popping pretty good. And so now we're going to run into another problem. The skid steer doesn't have the ability to just simply move left and right, back and forth, to place this exactly where you want. It's not like a forklift that has those abilities to move the front pallet forks independent of the entire unit. So this thing tears the crap out of my grass, and as I'm watching this video myself, I didn't realize that you see the whole rear of the skid steer come up off the ground. So because that weight is so far out, it's actually lifting the rear of the skid steer. And this is a large skid steer. This is almost a 9,000 pound unit here. Actually, maybe more than that. I have to look at the specs, but because the weight is so far out away from it, it's a disadvantage mechanically. So here we go. Now we're going to try and line up everything, and it's not going to be just as simple as pulling it up. Everybody's trying to line up everything. You want this to be exactly on these cinder blocks that you've just set in the ground, and that's perfectly square and perfectly level, and it's very difficult to just go in and set this thing right where you want it. So we messed with this for probably the better part of a half hour, just back and forth, tearing the crap out of my grass and trying to get everything set. And then the next thing that we'll have a problem with is that these forks want to get stuck underneath. Not necessarily the forks themselves, but then the extensions. And then I got to go underneath and grab them. So why, if I had all these issues, why did I do this myself? Why not just pay a company? Well, that was my first choice. I called 3 different companies locally that move sheds, and and two of them called me back, gave me quotes, one for $300, the other one for $350. That included them bringing it back, setting it on my concrete blocks, and then them moving everything and setting it. That included them paying for the permits to move it down the road. This took me roughly 6 hours to go pick it up and then set it in the backyard, $200 to rent the pallet forks and the extensions, and then borrow on the skid steer. So I would definitely prefer to just have somebody come and drop it. But at the end of the day, I'd already paid for the shed and it needed to be moved. And I couldn't wait for these companies to ever get back to me after me calling and calling. So if that's where you're at, hopefully this video helped you. My other video for the shed finish should be coming up soon, so check that out. Remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.